What is going on, YouTube fam? Today we are headed back to the shop to work on the Z. Today what I'm gonna do is finish putting the car back together, and then tomorrow Ethan is going to work on trying to get this thing, running to the point where I can actually drive it around a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, I have to replace my front timing cover seal because that seems to be leaking. Other than that, I'm gonna put that together, put the intake manifold back on, throw the injectors back in, bolt everything back down, put in all my new sensors, and then see where that gets us. Hopefully it'll get us reading some things right. And also, while I'm at it, since I have to pull the front timing cover off, I'm also going to, I don't want to, but I might drop the pan to see if my pickup tube is fucked up and see if that's why we're reading low oil pressure. I might do that. I'm not sure yet. We're gonna check the sensor and see if the sensor reads before I do any of that. Like before I even pull the timing cover off to replace everything. We're gonna see if these new sensors read, and if they do read properly, then I'm not gonna have to worry about dropping the pan. But I am still gonna replace the front timing cover seal. So, see you guys when I get to the shop. All right, guys. So made it back to Trackstar to the shop. Going to be putting the intake manifold back together, putting all my injector clips back on. I got my new oil pressure sensor in. I've got new Holley mass air temp sensor and coolant temp sensor, so hopefully those will work and that will solve our sensor problem for those not working. They got a nice little S13 coupe in here now, JZ car, pretty fucking sick. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing back together, and once we get this back together, Ethan's gonna get on the computer and hopefully this thing will be running the right way. So yeah, see you guys in a little bit. Take a look at what we've got here. Yes, the whole motor is, well, not the whole motor, but most of the car is torn apart. We went ahead and we're just triple checking everything to see why the car has no oil pressure. We took the water pump off, intake manifold off, front timing cover off. My front seal was bad, so that did need to get replaced anyway. Timing was good. My oil pump was good. My pickup tube was good. Everything is checking out good. And the last thing that we could check to find out what the solution was the DOD. Since this was possibly a DOD motor, I probably didn't plug the ports in here for that when I replaced the lifters. So that's what we're thinking that the issue is. I'm gonna get this off. I got a rounded off screw, so I'm gonna have to drill that out. Ethan's gonna be very mad at me, but yeah, we're gonna have to get this off, plug those ports if that's the case, and then go from there. Fingers crossed that that's what our solution is, and then after that, we can get this car on the road and then fucking rip it. And super excited to get that done. So, update, it was not a DOD motor. There's no plugs in there that needed to be plugged, so we're pulling the whole motor out of the car. We did drain the oil, and the oil was pretty much a fuel oil mixture, so that's already not a good start to all of this. But
all right, y'all boys.
all right, so got the motor out, went ahead and pulled it.
Yeah, boys.
Yeah, upset, not happy, but pull the motor, gonna drop the pan, see what it's looking like, and then go from yonder. What did you say, bro?
All right, y'all boys.
All right, y'all. So we got the rear cover off to see if this piece was here, and that piece is there. So we truly have no idea why this motor has no oil pressure. So it looks like it's probably gonna go on the stand for a little bit to see what the deal is. So how I have my lines ran previously, how I had them run like this. So this is supposed to be out of the motor into, hey, is it the rear one is out of the motor, or the rear one is to the oil pump? Or how did it go? I forgot.
The front hole is from the pump. So front hole is out, back hole is in.
Okay, so front hole is supposed to go from the oil pump through the line to the oil filter, but instead I had it ran, it's going from the line here, and it was going to the oil cooler, and then it was coming from the oil cooler to the filter, from the filter back to the motor, and that's not how it's supposed to be run. So pretty much these two lines are supposed to be flipped the other way. So what had happened was my oil pump was just like pumping oil like into the oil pan, and just it was just splashing around in the motor, so it wasn't going anywhere. My oil filter, when I drained it, it was still all the fresh oil that I had pre-filled it with when I had filled the oil filter and the oil cooler. So nothing was flowing through these lines. These lines had nothing in them at all for when I took all this stuff apart to drain it all out. And that would explain why this line here for the mechanical gauge got no oil when we started the motor, and wanted to see if anything was pressurized. So this wasn't getting any flow whatsoever. So that explains why we had 0 oil pressure. And it's pretty much a good thing why I pulled the motor anyway, because if you guys take a look here, my pilot bearing, you guys can see those two, it's missing the 2 little pieces there for this bearing. So I went ahead and I got a new one. I gotta replace that. My power steering line here, this line was also crushed, so I had to I'm gonna have to find a new one of those, put that on there. And then other than that, that's really the only things that I had to do to fix this whole shindig of a shit show that we got going on here. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get this motor put all back together. Once I get it put back together, we're gonna put the transmission, the clutch, flywheel, adapter plate, everything back on, put the transmission back on, throw it in the car, fill it back up with fluids, see if we have pressure. When we do have pressure, because I know this is gonna work, because nothing else is wrong with this motor. When we do have pressure, we're gonna finally like get this thing done on the dyno, get it tuned, shred the fuck out of it, and we're gonna go shred the gnar. So you know how it is, boys. Back to work. So yeah, we got most of the motor put back together, got all the front stuff back on, got the oil pan back on, got the rear cover back on, got the I have to replace my pilot bearing. And what we're about to do right now is, yeah boys, we're about to use bread to replace this. I looked up a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to remove your old pilot bearing, and literally everybody is saying fucking bread. So I'm gonna take the piece of bread that nobody ever eats, this piece here, and we're gonna shove that in that hole and get this pilot bearing out. So okay. So pretty much what they do in these videos is they take the bread and they break it up, and they just shove it inside, and yeah, they just shove it inside. I don't know how this works, but you just shove it all inside there. Pretty much a whole fucking piece of bread, you just shove it all inside there, and then you take something that's just barely bigger than the hole, so I'm using this bolt, and then you just hammer it, you just constantly hammer it in there, and I guess the bread coming out pushes the pilot bearing out. I mean, hypothetically it makes sense, but I don't know, man. I don't know how people come up with this shit, man. It's wild. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. I'm gonna record it so we can see it working, because I've only seen it in videos. I've never seen it actually done in person, but I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out and get this done right now. So yeah, I'm gonna start shoving her on in there. Get her deep in them sweet, sweet walls. Yep. Yeah, so you pretty much just, yeah, man. I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, watch. This is gonna fucking blow This is gonna be the demise of my motor. Oh. All right, we're gonna. Oh God, it's so much more space that needs to be filled. All right, I think that's enough bread. I'm about to start hammering. All right, you get me, Buzz? Hold on. All right, there, now it's recording. All right, here we go. See if this shit actually works. This shit ain't working. Let me do it. All right, you go ahead. You get at it. I cannot see this shit working. Shove all that bread in there.
Don't let us down.
Yo, this is ridiculous, and my name is Nicholas. Got mad gummy money, and it is deliciousness. Nothing, huh?
Pilot bearings on there. Damn, that boy thick.
Ain't doing nothing.
That boy.
All right, boys, where we left off yesterday. I don't think you guys saw, but look at this. There's no motor here. You know why? Because it's back in the car. We had everything back up in the car. Most of it is wired back up. I just have to plug in my injectors and coil packs, put the spark plug wires on there, and radiator, and it should be ready to start up. So here in a minute, we're gonna get this all finished and start it, see if we have oil pressure. So what's going on with the Z right now?
With the Z?
Yeah, tell me what's going on with the Z.
It runs.
It runs.
It idles. The throttle is good. It should be good now. Everything's tight.
Good.
No leaks. Yeah, you fucking did it, bro.
We fucking fixed it, and you were right.
You
were the one who said what the problem was. So here's what the problem was. Our oil lines were backwards. So that's really the only issue that we had, was these lines were just ran in reverse from the pan to the high pressure, and then the drain was just, it wasn't right. So now that we got it running right, I got everything hooked back up and the car runs. We'll throw a couple idle clips in there. We're gonna get it started. We're gonna try and get the brakes bled properly today. We're gonna try and rip a burnout, and then other than that, man, she fucking runs and it sounds fucking sweet. So I can't thank the boys here at Trackstar enough for helping me get this thing running. All right, guys, we got her running. Getting it tuned. So right here, we're just working on the fuel map. There we go, that sounds better. So you just changed it to...
Added in some fuel.
Okay.
It's still lean though.
Yeah.
And we definitely are going to want to adjust the idle screw down a little bit.
It's all the way off.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh. Where are we eating air from then? If that's all the way off, it basically should stall out. We gotta have a vacuum leak then. We need to check here in a moment.
Okay. Yeah, we got good oil pressure. All right, so everything is put back together. The car is ready to roll. We got it off the lift right now. Got the brakes bled for real this time. And we're about to go rip a fat Bernie. After we play musical cars, we're gonna move a bunch of cars around. And then she's ready to rip, man. Fucking excited.
Should be able to let the back down now, I think, right?
All right. But all right, y'all. So we just went on our first little drive in the car, and that joint felt great. That was legitter than a motherfucker. So we're gonna let it cool down. We're gonna pop the cap off, top that off, and then top off my power steering fluid because it felt like we had no power steering whatsoever. And if you look under the car, there is no leaks, nothing's leaking. So she's ready to fucking rip, dude.
Anything lower than 12.5 is fine. I don't want to be any higher than 13.5 where it's potentially dangerous. If when we're like on it, I know it's a little bit. It's gotta have some lean spots. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so it wants a little bit more perhaps, but it looks like it's close, so it's not like way outside the ballpark. So we're super lean right now.
Yeah.
But then we're okay.
It's just that partial throttle.
Okay.
So that felt good?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So as you can see, we drove the car around a bunch. No, not really a bunch, but we did drive the car around. Got all the fluids circulated through the car, through the motor. Went on a little drive. We ripped it. Since my throttle, my pedal, only gives me about 50 to 55% throttle because the way it's designed, I don't know. It's originally a drive-by-wire, and right now we did it to drive-by-cable. Since it has a throttle cable. So what we're gonna have to do is just rig something up, put a spacer between the pedal and the firewall to space out the pedal so we can have 100%. But other than that, literally, the car it's amazing. I can't wipe the smile off my face. I'm so stoked. I'm so happy. It's been a long time coming. Like, it's been a super long journey. I can't thank the boys over at Trackstar enough. Ethan, Ryan, even Evan Shanks, dude, like everybody there has like killed it. Like, they helped me so much, and it's just been a great experience. Like, I love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to actually do a burnout in the car. We didn't get to do a burnout today only because my coolant temperature sensor still is not reading, unfortunately. So I have to send my ECU to Holly, which is going to set us back about a month, which really sucks, but that's their turnaround time on the ECUs due to the COVID-19 and everything. But I'm gonna have to send my ECU out to them so they can test my ECU to make sure everything is good to go in there. And then once I get that back, then we can rip a burnout. We wanted to first make sure that everything was good on the car so I can, like, that we had oil pressure and all the small stuff was fixed. And now that all of that is fixed and the car is 100% ready to drive, we're just waiting on Holly. We're gonna get the ECU fixed, and once the ECU is fixed, then it's going on the dyno. So other than that, guys, man, I've got nothing else for you guys. Like, it's been one hell of a road. So all I can tell you guys is if you're gonna build a car, man, stick with it. Don't back out halfway. Don't quit. Just keep doing it. Everything you're doing is for a reason. So just keep at it, and you're gonna get there one day. So that's all I got for you guys. So take it easy, keep it street, stay tuned. We'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. We have a lot more to come. So peace.